Hello, everybody. This is Curtis with Campfire Tales Cryptids of America. And I have the pleasure of having Ed back with us again tonight. And he's going to share a story. This one's not so much about Bigfoot or paranormal stuff, but it's about mysteries. You there, Ed?
Yes.
All right. Um, so go ahead and tell us what you got.
Okay, this is probably about summer or late summer of, I think, 1987 or 1988. My ex-girlfriend that I was with at the time, she had a friend that was getting married. We were in Oregon, and her friend was getting married on the coast, and I had this little Ford Courier pickup with a camper shell on the back end of it, and and I told her, I said, well, we'll go down there to the wedding. I said, I'd like to, pack up and just camp overnight. Just find a place along the beach and camp overnight. And so we were down there. It was getting kind of late when we left the reception, and probably about around 8 o'clock. It was dark, and we were driving along, and we couldn't really find a place to camp, and so we just kept driving, got outside of Lincoln City and going down onto Highway 22. It goes down into, that heads down towards Salem, going down through Vendors or Corridor, down through the mountains, and got down toward the bottom. Probably about 15, 20 miles of Independence cutoff. Probably about around 11, 12 o'clock at night. So I thought, well, let's just go in here, and we'll just sleep out overnight, and then go home the next morning. We pulled off up in there, and there's no one around. It's just pitch black. And we drove probably about a mile back up in there before we started seeing any place to pull over. And pulled over and stopped and got in the back of the truck and slept overnight. And woke up the next morning, and we were just sitting there talking to one another, laughing and joking. And then we kind of looked over, and I saw a tent. There was no other vehicles, nothing around us except this tent. And I'm like, oh, hey, there's somebody over there. And then, camping, and I didn't think anything of it. I've camped many of times off alongside the road and stuff. So my ex-girlfriend, she kind of looked over there, and she goes, there's a guy standing over by the tent looking at us. And I'm like, so I look over there, and I thought, well, that's kind of strange, but I didn't think anything of it, I just thought, some guy was standing there, and he saw two people, a man and a woman, in the back of the truck, so he's sitting there staring to see what's going on, and so we just continued to talk, and I happened to look over, and the guy was gone. I'm like, well, where'd he go? And then she's like, he's over there by the tree. So he was standing by the tree, but he was kind of half hanging out. But you could tell he was there. And then I could see the guy's, breathing. He just seemed like he was breathing really hard. And I'm like, well, that's really creepy. And then he kind of like disappeared again, and then he was over by another tree where it was getting closer. And all this time, every time I seen him, he had the creepiest look in his eyes, and you could just see his breathing in his chest, just breathing really hard. And he got closer and closer, and finally I'm like, this is just too weird. I don't know what's going on. I said, but I'm getting my clothes on. Let's just get out of here. And So we started doing that, and when we did, we didn't never notice what happened to him, and we got out of the truck, and my little Ford Courier was hard to start. And so, once you got it started, you had to sit there and let it warm up, or it wouldn't go anywhere. So that's what I was scared of. I was scared that this thing ain't gonna go, and we're gonna be stuck by some madman or something like that out in the woods, and so. So anyway, we got in the truck and we were sitting there, and it's like, well, he just disappeared. And whenever I looked back in my mirror after I started the truck up, he was in his tent, and he was just throwing stuff left and right out of his tent. And we're like, okay, well, what's this guy doing? I mean, he's just going crazy. And so I'm like, well, I'm out of here. And I took off, and I started to leave out. We both looked back in the rearview mirror, and this guy had this big butcher knife. And he was running down the road with a butcher knife, and at the same time, my heart's beating 90 miles an hour. And I'm like thinking, I hope this truck don't die, because I never even let it warm up. And I'm like, I hope this truck don't die. But he was chasing us down the road with a butcher knife. And you talking about scared, I was like frightened to death. I didn't know what was going on, but at that time there in Oregon, there was I think he was up more toward Washington, but there was a Green River Killer, and so I didn't know if it was him or what, but it's like, I really know that what I seen, and it gave me nightmares for a while, but what I had seen, I thought I had seen the face of a killer. I've never have been that frightened or that scared before in my life.
Wow. Yeah, that would certainly get your adrenaline going. And so, do you know if there was ever any bodies found in that location, anywhere around there?
I don't know if there was in that location, though. I don't remember hearing anything, or but I know that there had been stories around the Marion County area and Lane County and stuff like that. I know there had been bodies, but I don't know if this guy was just, he had his tent, he was on his just hiking through, and he just stopped alongside the creek. There was no creek running down along through there. It certainly was a long ways away from where the Green River Killer was at. It was way past from the I-5 person, but I know there was somebody around Clackamas County, I think, about around that time that but I swear, and the way this guy was looking, the way he was breathing, you can just see his chest moving, I mean, it did not look normal. I mean, and his eyes he looked like he had death in his eyes or something. And when he come out with that butcher knife and he started chasing us down the road, that was like, to me, I could swear it had to be some kind of killer or something. I really don't know who it was or what it was, but
yeah, just that. I guess it came to mind, about the Green River Killer, because that was the big serial killer thing going on during that time frame. But I mean, it could have been just any crazed madman out there and breathing like that and trying to get themselves worked up, get the courage to find that knife and go attack you guys. Ed, I had considered going out to the mountains with you or to the woods and letting you do some of those Bigfoot calls and such, but Man,
Yeah.
you attract some weird stuff. I don't know if I want to hang out.
Yeah, I got some stories, but I mean that one there is as far as not paranormal and not in with Bigfoot or anything like that. But that was one of my most scariest moments. That as far as just a mystery.
Yeah.
That I can tell that I would really don't want to ever come across again, and it literally gave me nightmares for a while. I mean, because it scared me because I didn't know what this guy was going to do.
Yeah.
And my ex-girlfriend at the time, after we split up, it was maybe about I don't know if it was a year later or whatever, but anyway, she said that she was telling everybody that I wasn't man enough to stand up to that guy and and protect her like a man. And I'm like, well, you idiot, I did protect you like a man because I got out of there,
Yeah.
I mean, who knows what would have happened if I would have stayed there.
Right. Yeah,
so.
she wants to stay back and get carved up, protect you like
Yeah.
a woman,
Yeah.
Now there's a lot of crazies out in this world, and right now we do the traveling in the travel trailer, just seeing the country and everything, but I want to be in the mountains and enjoy the wild. But the difference is that I carry, okay, I got some heat with me, so if some knucklehead come out at me like that, I'm afraid I'd have to shoot some holes to them. But
yeah.
man, that's crazy. And and I'm glad that you were able to share the story. I'm sorry that it gave you nightmares, after it happened. And and certainly hope that recanting the story doesn't bring up any old nightmares and cause you any problems.
Well, it really doesn't. I mean, I've talked to other people about it, since then, and I talked to other people since then about it, and I don't really talk too much. This is the first time I've ever told the story, like put it out there on a, I didn't go to the cops or anything like that,
Yeah.
about anything after it had happened. I didn't say anything to nobody,
Okay.
after it happened. It took me quite a while before I did say something, to be able to say something to other people, And this is the first time that I've really put it really out there.
Yeah, being able to talk about it, that does help an awful lot to get rid of the PTSD involved in a situation like that.
Right.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate it. Is there any more to the story? Anything you'd like to add?
No, that was about it. I mean, after we left, after we left and we went back home, it just gave me nightmares, and I, kept wondering what this was, why this was happening. Was it a killer or whatever? Which, I certainly thought it was. He had a big butcher knife. I don't know what he was trying to do.
Yeah. It kind of makes you, when you're sitting around the camp and looking into a nice hot campfire and get all cozied up and, you're feeling all relaxed, you gotta kind of wonder what's out there looking at you.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of stuff out there in the woods. I've ran into Satanist people out there.
Yeah.
I've ran into people that that did bring up a gun. And I had a friend of mine that had a gun. And they were kind of taunting each other, and I'm like, you know what? I said, if the guy wants this campground, this camp spot that I've got, I said, I don't care. I'm not gonna I'm not going to get into no shooting match over it. And I left.
Right.
You know, and I mean, things like that can happen when you're in the woods and you're not in a, and that's where I used to camp, was not in paid campgrounds, just up in the woods and where old logging roads was at and stuff. You know, there's a lot of things you keep them back in your mind that there's a lot of things can happen out there.
Yes, because you're out of the public eye. You can remain anonymous. And
right.
Yeah. We used to, you know, when we were growing up, we would go into the mountains in Washington and Oregon and do the old logging roads and find a place that's wide enough, you know, for us to pull off to the side and toss a tent and stuff like that. And, you know, it seemed kind of innocent back in the day. And that's the kind of environment that I want to expose my wife to, you know. But at the same, you got to watch these people that are out there, because not everybody has just getting back to the nature in mind. Some of them have evil thoughts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, buddy.
So
well,
okay.
Yeah, that's a great story, and I appreciate you sharing it. And I guess we'll talk to you later, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.